Hello everybody, welcome to the previous SSR Classic Day Championship race 6 in the championship in fact, around Adelaide. Now no practice today, so I'm gonna get into this quickly. Before I do that, only thing we have is the race. That's because the game we use, Automobilista 2, only has race replays. It doesn't have anything like qualifying replays, practice replays, none of that. So we just have the race. We do have, of course, the qualifying results. We'll go through these. So in front, actually, pole position, unsurprisingly, Mick Schleifer. Don't know what time he set, but undoubtedly that was a very good one. And judging by his pace last time we saw him, which was in Spielberg, gonna see right around that pace again today. Dustin is second, was at this point still fighting for the championship. Then we've got Stepan in third, Wujek in fourth. I've got Kafalo right behind, Schwarzfahrer there. Those two always close to each other. Ulberman right behind. We've got Kushti, got London Vula, and we have Spinjak. I think I used to call him Swift, but I might call him that later on in the race as well, by accident. That's the grid. We're just going through this race. I haven't seen it yet, so everything that happens will be a surprise to me. And I've seen the results, but I don't remember them. So let's see what happens. And they're all off. Is it a decent start for Mick Schleifer? We've seen him struggle with that recently. He's on the inside still for the chicane, but Dustin is actually ahead. Ooh, he shoots past, but was that off track? Or was that legal according to the game? That's something the drivers have to worry about, because if you fully overtake someone off track, the game will tell you off and you do have to let them by. But if he stays ahead, it should be completely fine. And Dustin takes an early lead. Oh, but that's a big slide. Is that going to be alright? He seems to have good control of the car, so it seems to be just fine. Stepan close behind Wujek as well, Kafalo and Schwarzfahrer as well. Ulberman and the rest of the pack a little further behind. Kushti dropped back and Spinjak moved up to 8th place. There's small movements already, but Mick Schleifer again. The only weakness he really has is starts. Shows it again today, but yeah, hopefully that will be just step. Oh, we do see a mistake though from Dustin. He went incredibly wide there. Actually Mick Schleifer's already ahead. I was trying to click on Dustin, but he lost so many positions, so much speed through that. Stepan in second place, and Wujek takes himself up to the podium. Oh, that's a big lockup from Dustin, but Stepan also had a bad corner. Wujek now ahead, but it's not by much, so they're still fighting, and Mick Schleifer is the real beneficiary from this little exchange here, because as they're slowing each other down, and Kafalo is also getting involved into this fight, Mick Schleifer is running away with it. 1.5 seconds ahead from the rest of the pack as it stands. Oh, a big lockup from Kafalo. Excuse me, thank you game camera. Adelaide used to be on the Formula 1 grid, or calendar I should say. It's been a long time since that has been the case. They might not recognize the track. If you've played this game, you've tried it out, it's quite recognizable. I think they're doing the old version, which is a little longer. It's a good challenge for these cars. Stepan does catch up to Mick Schleifer a little bit here. Used to be 1.5 seconds, now is down to 7, 8 tenths, maybe 9. And he lost a little bit again, but he is pushing and he is quick. Stepan definitely want to watch out for this race. Oh, but you can see these cars go through this corner. Oh, and Wujek with a really big lift there. Oh, and that's him into the wall. Oh, is he alright? He is alright. Still driving. Oh, but that will have caused a lot of damage. Yeah, you can see on the left there's a big trail developing that's from one of the tires dragging. That is not what you want to have happen. That is such a shame from Wujek. Will not be happy with that. dropping quite far back as I try to recapture the mouse. Thank you, game. Stepan still close behind to Mick Schleifer. I'm not sure if he realized what happened to Wujek, but it just keeps going. Now Dustin back onto the podium, unfortunately by the tragedy of Wujek. Kaflo and Schwarzfahrer behind. Oh, and Wujek, I think, another mistake, or is he into the pits? I think he's into the pits. Yeah, it's into the pits. I can tell by the map. The camera isn't very good. But, yeah, there we see on the left. Uberman currently in 6th, ahead of the rear pack, I shall say. Starting to get a feel for this car, this race it seems. So, improving pace, hopefully resulting in improved positions later on. The gap is pretty big already, but we have seen a lot of mistakes from Dustin first and from Wujek then. Wujek also, of course, dropped behind, well, everyone. But the good thing is, there is a mandatory stop, and Wujek has already served it. So if he is able just to do his pace, make no more mistakes, good chance he'll come back later in this race and pick up a couple of positions and a couple of extra points. But Kafalo, that is, I think, a really big mistake from Kafalo. And quickly, nice thing about using replays is that you can go back in time and see exactly what happened there. Ooh, over the... Ooh, but that is a decent hit. Maybe he gets away with it. He doesn't lose any positions. Schwarzfahrer is still a little bit far back. But that is still a big hit. That's gonna be damage and gonna be fixed later on. I think we just watch on board with Stepan how he takes the challenge to Mick Schleifer, which is not going to be easy. Mick Schleifer, we've seen as a very, very fast driver. He is, in fact, with one race to go already, of course this is back in time, with one race to go he's already a championship winner. And yeah, you're going to need a lot of pace to really... fight, and Kafalo straight into the pits. I think the damage was severe enough that he noticed it and going to fix it immediately. Fair enough. We can see the cars understeering here through corners of the streets of Adelaide. This is, of course, a street circuit. You can see by the houses that are frighteningly close to where the cars are. And after the chicane is a nice turn with a seemingly wide exit, but the curves are like halfway on the track. Or on the road, I should say. Get themselves to the back straight of the track. Well over the curbs. Don't always have full control over them. There's a little bit of an apex there. An aggressive apex there, I should say. They hit it quite well. The car can handle it. Not every car can, but these are just fine. And very long straight, heavier on the brakes. Ooh, a small mistake from Mick Schleifer there. The smoke that came from his tires indicate a lockup, but that is a tiny mistake. That is simply not going to make the difference for now. Stepan taking it wide for the last corner of this track. It's a hairpin. It's a tricky hairpin in most cars because of the balance of, well, maintaining speed and not missing the corner. Does it quite nicely though. Slightly faster than Mick Schleifer previous lap. If he can keep that going, he should finish ahead of Mick Schleifer, especially with the gap as it is. However, never count Mick Schleifer out. Mick Schleifer, I think I should say. I was told that I need to do my homework there. Learned how to say Stepan, but Mick Schleifer. But of course, it is a German name. It should be pronounced as if you are a German. I'm not sure how the German pronunciation of Dustin is any different. Most of these drivers are German anyway. Schwarzfahrer, of course, that is German as well. Ulberman as well. Most of these drivers, of course. Stepan is Polish, and I believe so is Spinek. Who's also in the pits, speaking of which, but I think he is just coming out. He's driving very slowly. Maybe he has so much damage he's not continuing. Unfortunate. We'll see him back. Now Dustin made a mistake early on in the race, lost a lot of time, a lot of positions. Now has stabilized a little bit. He is matching pace with the leaders. So he's definitely still in the fight for the win. Definitely something to look out for. And he can still go not on board, cockpit. You still see the cars very much in reach right ahead of him. This will be his view for the next few laps. And in fact, he's not faster than Mick Schleifer this lap, but he is faster than Stefan. So maybe we'll be able to fight for second, and he might also decide to solve it tactically. Everybody needs to make a stop, so if you make it first, maybe you can undercut. Ulberman is already into the pits as well. We are about a little, around 9 minutes into the race. The race is 30 minutes, but it appears to be shorter in the timing at the top. I thought it was 30 minutes, but maybe I am mistaken. Maybe they decided to shorten it. No, it was 20 minutes, wasn't it? I think it was always 20 minutes. Every race has so much going on that you're not always sure of the time. So I remember it always being like a very good 30 minutes, but it's actually an excellent 20 minutes. Because we have fights like this that can last a couple of laps. And sometimes even the entire race. Let's see what else we got around the track. But Wujek defending against Ulberman, who just went into the pits. Car will be in optimal condition for Ulberman. Wujek, of course, had this really big crash earlier on. Oh, and he's struggling with this car around this track. Now, while the car isn't easy to drive either, the trackside camera is being extremely poor today. There you go. As I was saying, as much as the car isn't easy on its own, this track is especially difficult because the curbs being so high. It is a street track, so the grip isn't always as good as you want it to be. And some of the corners are just naturally a little bit tough. Doing a good job keeping up his pace. Kushti, I don't think he has stopped yet. Oh, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we seeing here? It appears that we have been blessed with a little bit of rain. Normally it's a little bit of... Oh, who did I see there on the wall? I thought I saw someone. Might be... Yeah, I think it is... Finnick is going out of the way. It appears that it has started raining, and it's quite sudden and it's quite heavy. But people are continuing. Stepan and Dustin are going in. I'm not sure if these cars have wet tires or if it's just all weather tires. Mick Schleifer staying out for now. Stepan and Dustin opt to go in for perhaps the wet tires, assuming they exist on this car. I'm personally not sure. You see Spinnock also going in. Now Kafalor will have to watch as Zwartvarer. Oh, Zwartvarer goes straight on into the grass. That is very unfortunate, and especially in the rain, you have literally no grip on the grass. It is the most painful thing in the world. Wujek is also catching up, but everybody is struggling. So difficult to keep these cars on the track. And Kushti Well, has to cut a little bit there to get into the pits. And goes wide there as well. Very difficult to get this car stopped. Mick Schleifer is still driving on the tires that he was driving on earlier. Let's see how Stepan tackles these corners then. Is he more confident because of perhaps wet tires? I think this car does have wet tires, so I think Stepan will have more confidence here. But you do see some parts of the track are still dry. Now this could be genuinely might be an effect or artifact of the replay system in the game. That because you saw that the track like suddenly turned very dark. That might be part of the replay system not being perfect. As it stands, I think Stepan has a decent feel for the weather with these tires. Pretty decent job there. Is he going to catch up to Mick Schleifer though? And I think, judging by the timings... Wait, where is Mick Schleifer? Oh no, what happened to Mick Schleifer? Ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly go back. So, through this corner, he's on all tyres, probably not even the right ones. He goes on the line and has no grip on the braking. Goes straight on. It's like a boat sailing straight into the gravel. As a result, Stepan will take the effective lead. Like, not being physically ahead, of course, but with the time he spent not being in the gravel, just driving his pace, Schleifer will have lost a lot of time, and Mick Schleifer still has the box. Let's remember. I think we'll be looking at Stepan in the lead after Mick Schleifer has stopped, and now Mick Schleifer does decide to stop, so we'll see where he gets out. You can see Stepan already really close to the end of the lap. Just a little kink here, a hairpin at the end. Oh, those go onto the grass. Will not be ideal, and Dustin is also struggling with this car in the rain. It's just very tough conditions, and Mick Schleifer is going out, but where is Stepan? Stepan does see him, but he is simply not fast enough to overtake. Ooh, and we do see the sun is coming through. That does mean that the rain was severe, for sure, but brief. We do see Stepan catching up though. Mick Schleifer going wide. And Stepan is into the lead. As it goes, and Mick Schleifer is just struggling in these conditions. Dustin in second after a really big mistake, starting from second. Right back where he started, but it does not reflect the journey he has had today. When Stepan makes a big mistake, does a half spin, Dustin has to avoid. But with that, he does take the lead of the race. What a funny race this is. As I tried to capture the mouse and get it back to trackside camera. As we see Dustin back into the lead where he started. Isn't I'm very sorry about the cameras. They're just not as good as they should be. There you go, Mick Schleifer now in P3. Big gap behind him, so he will very likely not drop back further. But that is not where we expected him to be, and definitely not where he wanted to be. He's just not happy with these conditions, with this car as it is. Actually, I said it was 20 minutes. It's 30 minutes. I forgot the timer on the top right doesn't show total time, it shows time remaining. So we're halfway through this race, and Mick Schleifer, big mistake, likely with the tire compounds that he was on, and dropping back from first to third in the span of a single lap. We do see Dustin making mistakes. We see Stepan, earlier he made a half spin, which lost him the lead. So this race is far from over. And Dustin takes a lot of those curves, maybe even more than he bargained for. But the car is fine, he has control over it still. Does mean that Stepan gets closer, who nailed the first chicane a lot better. Comes out with more speed. He does have safer exits, I know. And that is a very nice in the sense that you get to decide how the car moves a lot more, because you don't have to deal with the curbs. But Dustin is taking these corners for what they're worth, and as a result extracts a little bit more pace out of it. I'm not quite able to keep up. McSliver has dropped back very far. Early. Still in third, but Cavallor is closing in. Cavallor actually driving excellent pace right now, faster than the leaders in the last lap. And let's see if he can keep that up. He does the Stepan overtaking a back marker. We have a couple of back markers. Likely that a lot of people got caught out by the conditions. There's no shame in that whatsoever. These cars are tricky as they come, but let's put one on wet Adelaide. It's a disaster. We do see, oh, is that Wojciech? I'm afraid that is Wojciech. We saw him have a bit of a crash earlier. Say a bit of a crash, a big crash earlier. And it appears that his bumper is loose yet again. Ooh, and that is a big slide on that puddle. Simply no grip. You see how treacherous the conditions are. That is simply not pleasant. Nothing you want to be dealing with as a driver. Excuse me for the flickers. We'll move away swiftly into a different camera angle, I think, as we find the cars. And we see, I believe that is a back marker. Going into, no, is it? Oh, it's Mick Schleifer. Excuse me, that's not a back marker. I'm very sorry. That is Mick Schleifer going into the pits. I think it might be switching tires yet again. Maybe he took some damage on board. That is him in P4 now. That is a disaster. In fact, Schwarzfire is a little bit behind, so we're not likely to see him overtake Mick Schleifer as it stands. But regardless, that is a huge disaster, and I'm so sorry for the camera. It simply will not work the way it should. As we have it, Dustin. Ooh, now behind Step Up, and Step Up makes a big mistake, and Dustin is straight back ahead. And it starts to rain again, it seems. Or it's misty. It's one of the two, or hazy. Regardless, the weather is changeable. Very changeable conditions. As long as Dustin is in first, he will not mind. He's doing... Oh, as I said, I was about to say he's doing a decent job, but a half spin there, and that lead is gone again. Stepan and Dustin are not only trading positions, but they're also playing with fire. Because if they keep doing this at the rate that they are doing this, people like Cavallor might catch up. I should know better by now. There you go, Cavallor. Cavallor, I think, is driving this in a very safe manner. Not trying to risk it too much, and who can blame him? If you are driving in the middle of nowhere as he is, there's no need to take any risks. You just stay off the puddles as he does there. Make sure the car gets around the corner nicely. Don't care if you hit the apex or not. 20 seconds, 30 seconds ahead of the driver behind. Even if that is Mick Schleifer, making up 30 seconds in 10 minutes is not easy. But I think Cavallor is making a very wise decision by driving the way that he does. Now Wojciech is in the pits again. Presumably a little bit of damage fixing, maybe switching tires. Tough to see what the drivers are planning here. But it's also something tough to see. Oh, the cars. But Dustin taking that curb very aggressively. I think he is... Well, he's had a taste of maybe winning here. He's been in the lead several times, but mistakes here and there have thrown that lead away. But that's not permanent at all, because we saw Stepan make a couple of mistakes here and there. These two are going to battle mostly for consistency. if you look at the track we're on, being Adelaide, and the conditions it is in right now, we see a big wiggle on the map because it was on the grass. We just switch the cockpit and we can see that the track is still extremely wet. And the sun is coming through. Ooh, big slide, but nice catch from Dustin there. Will be okay to keep driving. It's tough to really measure the pace between these two. We did see Dustin earlier. He's taken a lot more risks, and sometimes that is very good for his pace, and sometimes, ooh, he's a little bit too late on the brakes, later than the driver ahead. Not too late, he made the corner just fine. A little late on the driver ahead though, and you risk maybe a touch here or there. Can happen. On the inside then, Dustin is looking, he's slightly faster, but is it gonna be enough? He's almost side by side, he decides against it, just putting the pressure on, and there is also a driver on the outside, so might not have been a wise thing to do regardless. Anyway, that does mean that Stepan stays ahead for now, but Dustin has a very good pace. He is reeling Stepan in. Just got a little bit more confidence in the conditions. Oh, but that's a mistake. Oh, and it looks like the car just lost it on its own. That is a testament to how tricky these conditions are, because that is a big mistake, and that means that Stepan, well, it was very scary a moment ago because of how close Dustin was. Now alone in the lead. And only 6 minutes left to hold on. Of course, the problem with doing these replays is that I don't know when it's going to end. Or how it's going to end, but Stepan does have a very good lead, so got my guesses. Uberman in the pits again. Could be damage, could be anything. McSliver, I think, has found his groove again. Track slightly dries up. Been consistently about 50 seconds behind. I don't think it's faultless, because Stepan and Dustin also made a couple of mistakes. Cavalo doing a good job, just bringing it home onto the podium as it stands. If he keeps that up, he can be very happy with himself. Francois behind, it's kind of the same story. He's got a really big gap behind him and a really big gap ahead of him, so no reason to push that hard so leaders do catch up to him. Now Ujek had a bit of a tragedy today, a couple of mistakes here and there, a couple of crashes, but currently in 6th. She didn't have the best of starts, but well, he had I think he dropped all the way back, if I remember correctly. I don't think he started last. Dropped back, and now he's back into 7th. Will be hopefully okay with that. I think Spinek and Lunavula unfortunately retired. Ulberman still driving, even if he is nearly 5 minutes behind. That's okay. Dustin is pushing this car as hard as he can. Now, here is a tough one, right? Riddle me this. If you are a driver, you know that your pace is much better. And you have been in the lead, not only, but oh, we see actually the crux of the problem here. As much as you are faster, you know you can take the lead, you've held the lead, and you've overtaken Stepan a couple of times, but you've lost it so many times as well. Not only as in losing the car, but lost the lead a couple of times through these mistakes. How hard do you push? Do you accept being second? Another situation in the championship for Dustin would say, no, I want that win. But it is risky, and if you hit the wall too hard, Cavallor 17 seconds behind, you close in very fast if you do make a mistake. But it's not that easy to make a good decision here. But Dustin is, I think he's made his decision. He is pushing. He wants that first place. And I think that is just natural for most racers that know that they can do it. But the track is tricky. The conditions are tricky. There's puddles everywhere. The spray from the car ahead is enough of a testament to how wet it still is, despite it seeming that no rain is dropping from the sky. So Dustin pushes, but I think he might be running out of time. 1 or 2 more laps it will be. Stepan still in the lead after lap 15. If people are suddenly braking in a weird way, then we know that the race is over. Oh, it is 30 minutes on the clock plus 5 seconds roughly. So I think this will be the last lap. Might be mistaken though. That is, I believe, Uberman pulling out of the way. It's last place anyway, but as long as he finishes, he will get the points. Dustin driving as fast as he can to try and overtake Stepan. Anyway, after all these mistakes, losing it, Stepan is playing it very, very safe. P2 would be unfortunate, but P3 would be even worse. But he is still ahead, and as long as you're ahead, you've got something to fight for. Straight over the curbs goes Dustin, but Stepan is a lot more sensible with it. Does appear to have the better speed. So looking on the inside, but it's just too far away. He's not faster. He's early on the brakes. Probably just to align this up better. Because that puddle is something you have to take into account. Is it gonna be enough? I forget that we have 30 plus 1 lap. I think it is just 30 minutes. So, ooh, but Stepan, it's not over, boy. There's just still a couple of corners. If you make a mistake in the next one, or even on this straight, there's puddles everywhere. Left and right. Even on this braking zone on the left, he's going to make a mistake, but being in there, no, but he does go very tight. Is Dustin going to be able to switch back here? He does have better speed, but the car's simply in the way. Stepan stays ahead. And I believe the flashing indicates that Stepan is the winner of the Adelaide race in the Classic Day Championship. Congratulations to this man. He does his victory lap. Dustin second place. Cavallor will be coming home in third. We'll be happy with that. Has done a great job today. Mick Schleifer, a tragedy today, straight up. Unfortunately has to settle for fourth, and I think that's confirmed by the virtue of Schwarzfahrer already having finished a place or a lap behind. Wujek in P6. I don't think he's fighting anymore. Kushti has finished in P7, Uberman in P8, and Spinnick and London Fuller did not finish this race. And what a race it was, as we do want to see the great Mick Schleifer in the context of the championship cross the line for us. And we see Wujek right behind, but it is a lap behind, so it will simply not matter. It's a touch, but that's okay. That is Mick Schleifer across the line. Take home his one and perhaps only non-podium finish of the championship. I'll quickly check that fact for you on the, because they have a beautiful table where all the results are. Yeah, Mick Schleifer, this is the only race he didn't finish in on the podium. There's one other race he didn't win. So, yeah. There you go. All it takes for Mick Schleifer to be put off his game is a little bit of rain. And, of course, the race start. But it's been a tough race. You see, Adelaide is a very difficult track in these conditions. Anyone is capable of making mistakes, and that has been proven in abundance. If you have been watching, thank you very much. And when this is uploaded in 2 days on Twitch, the link will be in the description, will be the finale around the Nordschleife. These cars with these drivers, everybody will hopefully be there. And if you enjoy these races, please do join in the Twitch chat, and we'll have a big watch party of these wonderful cars with these wonderful drivers that have shown excellent pace all around the Nordschleife. Thank you very much.